Hey folks, Jonathan Wilson, Toga Man GuitarViols. And I also have a sister channel, the Rebel Luthier Lab. So this might be a little bit of a dual thing. Anyway, I wanted to answer a question or address some questions that I've had recently about some of the new materials that I'm working with. This is actually, you can see it's an outer wood, and on the inside though, we have this is the outside here, and then the inside we have, it's you know, essentially a flax cloth. And what's the difference between that and say the carbon fiber, which I've got on that top there. I'm going to go over that and what composites are and what they are not. So when we think of composites, we're thinking of fiberglass and carbon fiber and boats and helicopters and planes and things like that. Well, actually composite technology can also be a fusion of like cloth and say a veneer in this case. So you can see here's one that's kind of blue or teal looking, it's kind of cool. And you can see that I've got flax in there. Okay, so there's also, you know, the carbon fiber. I'm using this as off a top plate, but I also use carbon fiber as reinforcement in the fingerboards. It's actually a carbon graphite on the outside. And use that on the tails. You can see one here is just coming out of the mold. So, okay. So as far as resilience and weather resistance and all that kind of stuff, both materials are equally excellent for that. So don't think that carbon fiber is somehow superior to, in fact, flax rivals carbon fiber in strength. And there's actually a guy over in Germany who builds boats out of the same materials I'm using. Shout out to Flax 27 Boats. Anyway, we're using the same type of resins, which are plant-based. We're also using this, and guess what? If he can use it for marine applications, trust me, your instrument's not going to blow apart. Best of all, this stuff has a really nice damping effect, very much like wood. And the thing is like carbon fiber by itself it's very chimey, and it sometimes needs to be a little bit tamed down. So it's almost like kind of a glass tap versus, you know, like something that'd be like wood. So we're getting the behavior out of flax that we would expect to be closer to wood because, well, it's a quick growth harvestable fiber. Also, hemp is pretty much in the same category. So, and I like to I'll mix it up with a little hemp as well. In fact, I've used one of the layers in this top has a hemp layer in there, and I really like the effect that that's had. So, as far as, you know, carbon fiber versus flax or hemp, I'm going to tell you, they're both as resilient, and you're not going to have to worry about them cracking or whatever. So I wanted to address that to some people who had some questions. Is it as good as carbon fiber in that kind of way? And, you know, carbon fiber can be pretty much overkill. Earlier versions of carbon fiber instruments that I've seen, like back in the 90s on forward, they were a little overbuilt, a little heavy, a little cold. And then when you build it very delicately, which is what we want a very resonant, responsive instrument to be, you find that, whoa, it's a little too efficient. So you kind of have to, you know, tame it back a little bit. So I'm doing that stuff in the Rebel Luthier Lab. We're doing all the actual lab experiments there. And of course, Toga Man GuitarViols is the beneficiary of the Rebel Luthier Lab R&D. So you can see I'm spinning two very heavy plates. I'm doing a lot of R&D, and I'm also doing production, and I'm kind of solo right now, so do the math, I'm a juggling monkey. Anyway, I hope that answers your question though as far as the materials, and I believe that this is the way forward. The one other also thing I'm going to point out is we can use a lot of different kind of veneers. That's one example. Here's another very pretty example of the veneer we can put on the outside of the instrument. And you know, I have like this one here is you can see it's that really purpley looking stuff, which actually when we wetted it, it darkens up so it gets the effect that I've had on this instrument here. So anyway, hope that answers your question. Have an exceedingly awesome day. Be inspired.